René Magritte was a Belgian painter also associated with the Surrealist movement. Magritte was less interested than Dali in translating the content of his dreams. He took more interest in the Freudian notion of the subconscious, that there are certain seemingly irrational forces that drive us all to action. To explore these concepts, Magritte would present illogical painted realities. Like Dali, he paired this exploration of the unknown with traditional illusionistic methods of depiction. The Surrealist propensity for the absurd has its roots in the art of Dada. Instead of using absurdity as a form of political protest, the Surrealists used it as a way to speak of the unknown elements of our unconscious minds. If what our minds tell us to do or feel seems at times irrational, then only irrational images can truly describe this condition. This painting by Magritte is entitled The Treason of Images. In this piece, Magritte challenges the difference between objects and their depictions. In the top of the composition, he paints a representational depiction of a wooden tobacco pipe. Underneath the pipe, in French, he writes, "This is not a pipe." Just as language is a tool of description, images can only describe what they represent. An image of a pipe is no more the object than the word pipe itself. If we were to describe what we see on the surface of this painting, oil and colored pigment would be more accurate than describing what we see as pipe. And to get really accurate, what you are looking at is not even a painting. It is merely a composition of pixels on the screen of your computer. Joan Miro was a Spanish painter who was also interested in exploring notions of the subconscious mind. Unlike Magritte or Dali, his paintings are not founded on illusionistic depiction. Instead, Miro would practice what was called automatic drawing. To do this, he would try to clear his mind of any specific references, and then let his hand begin making marks. He reasoned that if he can ignore his conscious mind, that his subconscious mind is free to communicate unfiltered. The resulting images were colorful paintings that straddle the space between non-representation and abstraction. Frida Kahlo was a painter who took equal influence from traditional Mexican folk art and Surrealism. Kahlo lived through periods in both Paris and New York City, but always returned to her native Mexico. Her work made reference to issues such as the divide between Mexican and European cultures, her identity as a woman in contemporary society, her marriage to the Mexican muralist Diego Rivera, as well as certain physical traumas that she endured during her life. Most notably, she was involved in a devastating streetcar accident as a young girl, in which she was impaled by a metal pole. The repercussions of this event left her infirm for much of her life. Kahlo was also admired for her independent feminist perspective at a time when women were not necessarily measured by their strength. The Surrealists enjoyed playing a number of games that related to their interest in unconscious or automatic art making. One of their favorite games was called the Exquisite Corpse. Based on the parlor game Consequences, a group of players pass around a piece of paper that has been folded into multiple segments. Depending on whether the game is played with words or images, the first player will write a word or phrase, or draw the top portion of a composition, and then fold it over and send it to the next player to fill the next section. The end product often seems random or cryptic. To the Surrealists, this meant that it did well to expose some unfiltered notion from the subconscious mind. The game's title actually comes from the product of the first Exquisite Corpse word game ever played, which read, "The exquisite corpse will drink new wine."